Fola,
Yeah, Abby, what's up, man?
I thought you said
Yeah, I can hear you loud
was
and
it
clear.
you that said you didn't like the headset because, was it you that said so?
No, not me. No, I love the headset.
Oh, okay. Somebody said,
Yeah.
oh, it looks like uh customer
Something.
service provider or something like
Are
that.
you for real? No, not me. Not
Yeah,
me.
okay, so it was somewhere else.
Yeah, I actually like to do this without the headset, but a lot of times I don't get to hear what people say, and they also don't get to hear what I say. So I guess I'm just
Okay.
constrained to use it. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, actually, that's the point. The actual, I mean, sound wise, yes, it's much better. It might look a little ugly, but I think sound wise, it makes
Exactly.
sense.
Yeah.
Because what happens is that people, while talking, move up and down, and that kind of affects the mic, and they don't realize that, obviously. But what have you done? Have you got the headset behind you? You got mute.
me?
Yeah. Where is it now?
Me?
Yes.
I actually have a headset, but I don't know.
Okay. So it's
But we can
normal.
actually hear you loud and clear. Yeah, we can hear you
Yeah.
loud and clear
Yeah,
from this end.
so
Yeah. And it projects the beauty of the face. So it's good without the headsets. Let's leave it like that.
as
Yeah.
today is beautiful mind.
You know
Yes.
now.
And we have to make
Yeah.
sure that Fola has no complaints. He's the one who's going to talk. We are going to listen. And they will
No,
be
no, no. Abby and I are
No,
speaking.
we are
No,
going to
Abby.
talk. You're going to
We are
listen.
gonna, yeah,
Yes,
we are gonna
exactly.
talk. You're gonna listen. Yeah.
No, that's the difference, Fola. This is a different format. That evolution of a mediator, the whole idea is to have people talk about things that they might have forgotten. And those are important milestones in people's lives. And so the idea, that's why it's a little questioning there. Here, it's not, it's like a conversation. While I have my tea, you people will talk to me. But what is happening now? What is the situation in Nigeria in terms of general political? All that is handled now, or that? Oh, that's quite an answer. Oh, there was that period, wasn't it? The major period when there were some. I mean, not going to talk politics, but I'm just saying that. How are things now?
Abby, you want to go first? How are things now in
Um,
Nigeria?
I think that's a hard question to answer. It would depend on, the person answering the question.
Yep.
And what angle the person is coming from?
Exactly. So I wouldn't say things are good, and I can't say things are bad. So it would be a multifaceted answer depending on the individual.
But that whole movement that started, that whole everyone got together, and there was seemed to be some nice things happening in terms of collectively people were doing things. That's still going on, or is?
The end SARS, the
Yep.
Was
Yep.
was
was
it the end
beautifully
SARS?
squashed.
Yeah.
It
Yep.
was beautifully squashed. Wonderfully squashed.
It was squashed now.
I'm not political, so well. You know what? I take back that statement. I shouldn't say I'm not political. Everybody should be political.
Well, look, why I'm saying this is because as mediators, there is definitely a different viewpoint you can bring in. And that viewpoint, whoever takes it, I mean, I'm not saying that the people are going to take it, but I think we need to be involved in these things. And from a very neutral
Yes.
perspective, why do we have someone entering the waiting room? How come? Where did they get this link from? Just let me
Oh,
check.
what time?
No, there's someone who's coming in. Let me check who the person. Let's just get the person in. Let's see who it is. I don't know. Surprising, because this link only you have.
Oh no, we actually shared the link. Are we not supposed?
No,
Are
no,
we not supposed to share the link?
no. This was supposed to be just our conversation. Goes on
Oh, then
YouTube.
please.
Let's see who the person is.
Oh, I'm so
Oh my!
sorry.
And I just
No, then please
actually
don't.
did a
Not a problem. Let's get people in. What's the problem? These
Okay.
conversations are just us. That's it. Let
Oh, I'm
people
so
watch
sorry
it on
because
YouTube.
okay, I'm so sorry because I actually shared the link thinking you would want people in. Yeah, apologies for that.
I made that same mistake. My apologies.
No, not an issue at all. I mean, look, the format here was that it's because if other people come in, like you'll be different. I want you to be you with nothing else attached.
I'm always me.
No, no, no. Then it's fine. Then we might as well not accept them and just let them watch through YouTube. Then,
Yeah,
if that's okay by you.
yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm doing is I'm actually deleting. So
No, people started coming in, not a problem. It's a new format. It doesn't matter. That's all. Let's evolve. Let's not look. People are coming in. Let's not throw them out. It's nice of them to come in. So let's not throw them out. We'll get them involved somewhere. But I'll tell you why. Because what happens is that look, Fola and you come from okay, as mediators, as lawyers, you have a certain situation in what you are in Nigeria, and with these people, that is the relationship you have. But with only us sitting there, it's a different thing. It's like friends sitting and talking. That's the only difference.
So I'm gonna send you a chat, Vikram. Oh well, you know what? I'm just gonna send a chat to the group we're on. Okay, so I think
but it's fine. They can actually be silent observers, you know. So I'm sure
they can be.
So which means with your settings, you have to mute everyone.
No, that's not a problem. That I'll do. I'm just saying, like, they can be involved. That's not an issue. I mean, we're talking like part of the conversation. It's a new format. Let's let them come in. I mean, not an issue. But as long as you people don't change, that is
no. We can't.
They say, look, Foya is the lawyers in Nigeria, and Abby is the lawyer there. And for them now, if you have Mr. Yomi Okuno, you'll have a certain relationship with him. So that part of it should not affect our conversation.
No. Trust me, it won't.
It is still going to be a drawing room.
Yes. I think one of the selling points we have is our originality, irrespective of where we are. So you can be rest assured. And I must also add that that's Mr. Okunu there happens to be the chairman of an association I belong to. So not to worry.
We met earlier. I think Mr. Okunu, you can unmute yourself. We met. Yes. I met him earlier in some of these things. But only thing, I don't know when you came to the waiting room, there was a special section which says, "Put your hats there." So your lawyer, businessman, all those hats have had to be left out. Only your mindset comes in.
No problem.
Look, there is definitely a Fola inside, and there is a Fola who's put all this around him. So we want to take that away.
No problem. Duly noted. Okay then.
Because I know that Fola. I mean, I have interacted with him. That Fola, and then this is the businessman and the lawyer that I also interact with, but I don't want to do it today.
No problem. It's mediation all true and true.
Yeah.
Undiluted mediation, authentic mediation for a better way of putting at it. Yeah. So let's do this.
Yeah. And the mediator mindset, because not even the mediator. At the end of the day, we don't even talk about mediation. It normally does come up sometimes.
Okay.
But I pronounce it Mr. Okunu. Okunu is okay? Is that how it's pronounced? So Yomi Okunu. I think, but only Praja was the problem in.
Hello, Vikram.
Hello, how are you? You'll have to unmute yourself. You'll have to unmute yourself, Mr. Okunu.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Good afternoon, sir.
Mr. Okunu, actually, it was supposed to be only two people were invited. Now at least we have a party, which is not bad.
You know, on a lighter note, we Nigerians are a collective now. You know, we work together. You understand? So you always see us say, yeah, okay, see.
Look, I have no problem because I don't have to serve tea. No tea has to be served, no snacks have to work. Get everyone together.
Yeah.
No problem. This is what I like about the whole online world.
Okay.
Call as many people as you can.
Good day, everyone.
Hello, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Which really means that both of you did not watch any of the earlier episodes of this series.
I did. No, I watched the one with the Swedish lawyer.
Yeah.
And the other lady, I think she's German.
Yeah, she's German who stays in Prague. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched the whole. Yeah, I watched that.
Yeah.
Where were the other people in that?
I think the issue was with the way you sent the link. I think that was the issue.
Was it?
I think so.
That's in it's okay. It's not bad. Everyone should be part of it.
Fola?
Okay, Okay, we're gonna have to mute everyone.
Can I do it? You don't mind?
Yes.
Okay, so then I will.
Thank you.
Done.
There's still someone who's unmuted.
No, I'll mute them. I'll mute
Okay,
them.
great.
Not a problem. I'll mute them. I'm just saying that is that polite of me to do that or not? That's the only thing.
No, because then we're just gonna have, there's going to be a lot of background
yeah.
noise. And
I think that's the only problem, that the
interference.
sound. Yeah, that sound issue that comes up. No, that's a problem. Otherwise,
yeah.
But otherwise, I mean, in terms of the general atmosphere and everything, things are okay. I mean, what do you look at?
Well, from my perspective, things could be better. Does that answer your question?
It does. No, but tell me, what is the role of mediators as such? Where can we have a role of mediators in this whole process of whatever it means? Would be politics, could be social change, all those things. Where do you think we fit in?
Okay, Abi, you want to go first, or should I go first?
No, you could go first.
Okay, I think if you're going to look at it from that standpoint, it really has to do with education. You understand? People having an understanding of mediation and how it works. And the foundation of it all is the fact that people are still trying to grapple with the concept of mediation and how well mediation can come up in the scheme of things. So most times when I try to look at mediation, I always try to look at it from the standpoint of, okay, fine, do you even have an idea of what mediation is? Do you understand the concept of mediation as it stands? Before you now start to reverse engineer mediation into every aspect of your life. You understand? Because for me, and it's something Mr. Bakisoya always says, that mediation really is a way of life. So if I'm not going to, against that background, bring it down to the concept of politics generally, it's a situation of, okay, fine, win, lose. You should be able to at least concede to some certain things in the spirit of a bigger, greater, and brighter tomorrow. So the question is really neither here nor there, but I would look at it from the standpoint of even having an understanding of the fact that mediation really has to do with resolution of disputes. So if you're not ready to resolve, if you're not ready to concede, then where do we go? Then where do we take it up from there? Abi, I think against that background, I think you can continue from there.
I think the whole concept of mediation is we need to inculcate it. Now, I want to go back to Vikram's question, which was, what roles can we play? I think the first, as mediators, what roles can we play? I think the first thing is creating awareness. And there needs to be, for lack of a better word, a demystification of the process. If people understand that it's not, mediation is actually being the bigger person, as opposed to being the weaker cousin or brother of arbitration, that's the general perspective here. Then if the general public understand, you know what, I can actually achieve this without going to court or without, now I think I'm digressing, but I'm going to finish my thoughts. Without getting a lawyer to fight my battle, and I can actually sit down and have it sorted out, then I think mediation would be a better alternative.
Because one is the fact, one is on one end, obviously the promotion of mediation, which obviously you people are doing in Africa, Nigeria and everything. That's one aspect of it. The other is, as mediators, our role in society. Because
yes, that's why I said I digressed.
Yeah. So because I'll tell you why, where I'm coming from is that on one end, we talk about being neutral. Are we first of all, are we neutral on issues relating to politics, relating to whatever social situation is in a country? Are we neutral, or do we have to be neutral? First of all, that aspect we'll have to discuss. We'll discuss that part. That's
Fola, would you like to go, or should I just go ahead?
Okay. The question is, can anybody really be neutral, for starters? Well, that's the first question. If we decide to look at the concept of neutrality, what's your definition of neutral? For you to see what is right or wrong and just try to pretend that it isn't and just maintain neutrality. So when we have to look at the concept of neutrality against what exactly? And you see, one of the reasons why I like what I do, I'm going to digress and come back about the concept of mediation, is that ultimately, as mediators, we all have to come up with our own definition of what mediation is. Honestly speaking, we also have to also look at the concept of mediation against a lot of things. And if we truly say mediation is a way of life, how much of a way of life is it? So when we now look at the concept of neutrality against what exactly? So my thoughts on this question is really neither
look at
here
it.
nor
Look,
there.
no, look at it from the perspective. No, I'm for a moment.
okay.
I will what we do. We'll look at it from the perspective of NSARS.
Oh, yes.
NSARS. It was called NSARS. Whatever.
Yes.
Just look at it from that perspective. Say
No.
in NSARS, what could have been the role of mediators? That I just want to understand, because
you see why it's very, very difficult to use NSARS as a basis for this discussion is that on the face of it, it looks as if, okay, fine, it's a regular dispute, it's a dispute between the police and the citizenry. But you see, it's deeper than that. It's not black and white, for want of a better way to put it, because I must confess I was actively involved in the whole NSAS thing here and all that, and there are so many interests involved. So as a mediator, if I now go to look at the whole concept of NSAS, first of all, the foundation had to do with the police brutality and the citizenry is not being happy about it. So now they came up with an agenda of what they wanted, and somewhere along the line, it got scuttled. So from a mediator's point of view, the question is this: what are the underlying interests? On the part of the citizenry, the youth being oppressed and all of that, what do they really want? They want your oppression to stop. Now, on the part of the police, you understand, which is also, what exactly do they even want what do they want from all of this? But you see, what are the other underlying issues in terms of, okay, fine, the remuneration of the policemen, you understand, the salaries and whatnot, not being properly paid, and them now using this as an excuse to vent out the anger on the youth, among so many other things. So really, when we're not going to look at the concept of neutrality, we're going to look at the concept of balancing. The point is that what do they really want? What do they really, really want? Abby, can you continue from there?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, because I actually have a
No, you please.
different...
You're going.
Okay, I think NSARS is not just about
Someone is saying that they're on an NSARS tribunal now. MMA Sunny is on a...
Yes, there's a tribunal for the people who have been brutalized by policemen or SARS operatives over time. And I think during the protests, to tell the truth, I think the whole process, I mean, you know, I think I'll comment my reserve to be on the safe side.
Maybe I've gone into it. This was not supposed to be about NSARS. I was just generally saying.
Yeah, but I think what the issue is basically every Nigerian is disgruntled, apart from the people who are sitting pretty and fat. I think the average, okay, let me put it this way, the average Nigerian is disgruntled. So the system doesn't work, nothing works. You have to provide your own generator, you have to provide your own community gating, you have to do your own borehole. There's so many little things that people who live in other countries take for granted that we don't have. And I'm sure there's some places in India that are like that as well. I think what's happened with the NSARS was it was accumulation of a lot of things, and the youth were just the voice, because there were a lot of people behind the scenes who were, you know, putting things into place. They were just who we saw. They were the face, and I think that's because they're more vocal generation. What am I saying? They? Because I see people with gray hair here. No offense, Vikram. I think they are just
offense
the
taken.
more vocal. No offense, Mr. Okunu. I think we're just the more vocal generation. You know, because I remember when I was growing up, and I think Fola, we've had this conversation before on a round table. When I was growing up, you were supposed to be seen and not heard. And even that's being seen, you were only supposed to be seen in certain places. But now I would tell my son, look at me when I'm talking to you. When I was growing up, looking my parents in the eye was deemed insolence. Like, you were brave enough to look me in the eye. But now I'm talking to my son, I would say, look at me, look me in the eye when I'm talking to you.
Wow.
You know, they ask questions, I give you an instruction, and they can ask questions. So this is what I'm talking about. They were the face that we saw. So it was, the NSAS movement was not just them. It was the parents of the people we saw. It was the grandparents. It was something, it's like when you sweep things under the carpet.
And
inevitably,
of things.
The door is going to get stuck. So I think, in my opinion, that's what the NSAS was. Unfortunately, it didn't. I mean, with better packaging, it would probably have had more impact. It would have been more impactful.
No, I'm just thinking, look, how I'm looking at it is, supposing Abiola is called in as a mediator in such a situation.
Called in by who?
That is the point. Who calls you in, first of all? That's one part. Look, this is important. That's an important question. Very important question. Who calls you in? And first of all, when we say parties, because for any dispute or anything, there's supposed to be parties, and you're supposed to resolve the dispute between parties. Now, first of all, who are the people you sit down with in these situations? In any kind of social situation, political situation, who are the parties that are supposed to be? So who represents the people? First of all, that becomes one aspect of it.
So essentially, when you have the state government, well, you have the state government, quote and unquote, representing the police, and you have the disgruntled individuals. So when we now look at the concept of
sorry, Fola, I just want to state something. Even the police are disgruntled. So I don't know if you would say, do you understand what I'm saying? I don't know if you would say that the government would be in a position to represent the police.
But the point is that it also goes down to the point of neutrality, because if at the end of the day, you understand, the police, you have the youth or the citizenry against the state government and all of that, who engages the mediator? Who brings the mediator into play? That's the question.
So I think it's up to us.
Exactly.
So I think it would be up to us then, as one body, to say, okay, fine, we're going to, step in and try to mediate. But because of the voluntary nature of mediation, I mean, even if I say, okay, you know what, I'm going to be a mediator, I'm going to speak for ATMA, or I'm going to speak for mediators in Lagos, right? The parties have to be willing to mediate. Now, because of the kind of structure we have, even if the government says XYZ, there's going to be, how do we get parties to what's the word now? How do we have representatives?
Exactly, that is the point. No, but why I'm saying so is because this is an example. But according to me, generally everywhere, I mean, India included, Africa or anywhere, obviously there are issues at community level, and they are going to be at the political level, social level, everywhere. So now we have to see where our role really fits in. Because the point is, you can go out and talk about mediation. That's a different thing in terms of people using mediation. That definitely, like I said, you people are doing that. That's another part of it. But when you have identified people with that mediator mindset, we want them, one, of course, to get work and they're earning their money. But after they've done that, we want them to be part of society handling these things. So I would just want to see from that perspective.
No. Against that background, it's a different case entirely. If which is one of the things that the association we belong to, ATMA, is trying to do, and that's an association of attorney mediators, a bespoke association of lawyers that are mediators. It's an independent association that stands on its own. Now, it's a different scenario if when this happens, you understand, the association takes it upon itself to resolve disputes between maybe the state government and the federal government and the citizenry. Because at the end of the day, the most important point is the concept of quote and unquote neutrality and maybe independence of some sort. But then again, this question raises more questions than answers for me. Questions that I may not necessarily be able to answer.
No, I'll tell
You
you,
understand?
Fola, what you're saying in terms of
Yes.
neutrality. Of course, look, Ken Cloak is going to come next Saturday. We'll talk to him about this. But I think somewhere he has said that there are situations where you might not be neutral, but you can still be a mediator in that situation, because finally, look, it's down to the fact whether you can be. Are you going to be unbiased? Are you going to be impartial? Are you going to be fair in that situation? So are we? Because in that sense, you can not. Maybe you're not neutral, but as a person, if you can take that away and handle it. Mr. Okono, we'll get you in later. Right now, today is a conversation with, we'll get you in later. Not a problem. Today it was supposed to be both of them. They went wrong and they sent out the link all over. It is actually, look, this conversation.
All over, that's right.
No, this conversation has gone into this direction which you are interested in. I'm going to get them into them as people, their lives, all that. We're going to come to that. This was just, it just came to my mind when I see them, this whole, because Fola had really gone out and he was on his WhatsApp. There were a lot of messages I saw at that time. So I just this topic just came up. But we'll talk about it after that. Maybe I have enough time. If you have time, I don't know. I have enough time. We'll do that.
Okay.
So we'll come to both of you on that. This was really, this conversation has gone into this direction. It was not supposed to be part of that. You, like I said, if you've seen the earlier ones, this is nothing about mediation. There's nothing about all these political discussions. It's totally about you people. So that part.
Okay, so let's do that. Let's get back on track.
Back on track.
Honestly speaking,
Hello.
Okay,
sorry, before we get back on track. So are you going to open the chat?
Yeah, we'll all have a conversation. Yeah, we'll all have a conversation.
Sorry, the chat box. Is it going to be open?
No, that chat was, chat gets a little distracting, because then we'll go into that. You put in your messages there. I'll read it later. We'll read it later. Put in whatever messages you want. Not a problem. So what I was saying was that, as growing up in Nigeria, what was it like? You people, when you were growing up, what was Nigeria like?
Like you, that's everything really want us to because your questions are quite open-ended. You see, they're a bit open-ended, because when you say growing up in Nigeria, it's where do we start tracing that from? So maybe if you could just give us a more bespoke question, you understand?
No, look, what do you remember? Okay. Look, the fact is, when you were growing up, what do you remember of Nigeria? Because, look, of course, you're not that old, so that the other younger generation might be able to relate to it. But sometimes certain things that you grew up with and they might have missed out on, it's interesting for them also. And for people all over the world to really find out what life was like when you were growing up, what kind of experiences you had.
Well, growing up was a bit interesting. Well, growing up, I had a bit of a sheltered life. You understand, the whole mommy daddy kind of life, where you'd go to school, come back from school, you do your assignment, and that's it. It was a bit cyclic up until when I lost my dad. I guess that was when I actually had my baptism of fire to really see life for what it was. So you understand, and then when I mean seeing life, taking up responsibilities, I probably wouldn't have taken up when I was that age. So I dare say that I actually grew up faster. Sorry.
When was that? How long back was that?
This was I lost my dad when I was 20. But from when I was younger to up until 20, it was a bit sheltered. You understand? Whoa, was when you sheltered in the sense that you just go to school, you do your assignments, you come back. I didn't go to a boarding school and all that. So having to to see life for what it was a bit overwhelming for me. But hey, so from that point up until much later in life, I had to take decisions for myself and all of that. And against all of that was okay, because I became. I'm trying to be very. I'm when I get this, when I am asked this question, I'm always very careful, because it makes me a bit vulnerable and emotional, because a part of me I really don't like to talk about. So
is it because
yes.
No, it's nothing related to all these people here, no? It's generally
no, far from it, far from it. Yeah, far from it. So like every regular, and you see, the Nigerian system is a bit funny, where it has to do with the loss of a breadwinner. You understand? Because when a breadwinner passes on, you have some people coming on trying to assert authority, take what is not theirs, and all of that. So it's not like the conventional kind of society where when someone dies, the family members what's it called? So it's
But
so
Fola, let me tell you,
yes,
whatever you
okay,
are
now
saying
you're doing it again.
for Africa, whatever you're
Yes.
saying is
Yes.
exactly what is for India. So if you just think that
India,
it's
okay.
all the same. I mean, Africa, India, the culturally,
Yes.
the society, everything is structured the same way. So
Exactly. Yes. Okay. So it was pretty much all that, and I can't even talk about that without even talking about how I accidentally stumbled into law.
no,
Because
not
like
at
a lot
all.
of
We're not even there. We are at Fola at 4 years old. What games was he playing?
you
No,
see,
in
okay,
the sense games,
now
otherwise
for
sports, not games he was playing.
yeah, for at 4 years old was a very stubborn boy, and I'm sure you still see that I exhibit some of the traits up till now. You know, I grew up in a family of 5, 1 boy, 4 girls. So I was practically the only boy. So Fola at 4 was a very troublesome young guy, you understand, who always wanted his wanted his way out of life and all that kind of stuff. And he grew up under. That's pretty much all there is to it about me, really.
You were pampered, basically, but you pampered. You were all sisters.
No, I was no. Okay, now I wasn't pampered, and I'll
No?
tell you why. Because my dad, yeah, I was far from pampered because my dad used to work with the state security service. It was like a paramilitary kind of thing. So he just had this conviction that look, Fola, you are not going to grow up being ACC. So while my sisters got away with a lot of things, trust me, I didn't get away with a lot of things. And according to him, he said I reminded him so much of himself. So I would do some certain things, and he would be like, if I used to do this then, and I know how I ended up. So let's just say I had the raw end of the
But-
stick in
but
terms of
not
in
at
terms
4.
of
Not at 4.
not at fault. Oh my, see, Vikram, see now when it comes to training, I know the beauty about it. It's changing right now. At 4, I was already getting spanked. So my generation was how it was then. You understand? So at 4, yes, at 4 we're already being disciplined. So
Not
the
bad.
glory
That's
of
not
God,
bad.
yeah. So at 4 we're already. But understand the concept of discipline. It was from a place of love. You
Yeah,
know, it was
definitely.
it was a place of love, and for me, I dare say it was also from a place of ignorance too, because I still don't believe that any child needs to be beaten for you to be able to get them for you to be able to get them to do some certain things. You understand? Because I just believe that at a certain age, not at all ages, you understand, you should be able to have some kind of conversation or even some kind of corporal punishment in terms of telling them to go to their room and all of that, not raising the big stick. So it was exactly, yeah.
So, but otherwise, I mean, okay, let's go to Abby first. Oh, Abiola, you tell me what you remember of being 4 years old. What was happening around you? All that. Come on, there must be interesting experiences.
Well, I'm the first child, so at 4, I had one sibling. I remember that, and I remember I was an outside child. I loved being outside. I would play in the rain. I loved playing in the rain. I wasn't much of a TV person. I was, as I said, I was an outside person. You would hear my mom calling me, "Where is she?" Outside. And I was very talkative. I remember my first report card in primary 1. So I was 5.5, something like that. And, or maybe was it nursery 2? Anyway, I can't remember. I was under 5 or thereabouts. And the first thing I remember reading, my mom kept, I think till now, she has a chest of drawers that has everyone's report cards.
Nice. That's very nice.
And it was Abiola is a chatterbox. So I think for me, my dad was a lawyer. My mom is a lawyer. So that just kind of stuck with my parents, and automatically she's going to be a lawyer. She talks a lot. But at 4, I remember I was very playful. Very, very playful. I was also very scared. But I remember I was daring because we had this swing outside my house. And my dad would always say, never go up there if I'm not in. And I would always get to a certain point and stop. Okay. My common sense would tell me daddy is not in, so you can't go there. I think about then my mom had my younger sister. So one day I just thought, what's going to happen? and I went up there. And I was up there for a while. Because my mom looked at me and she just said, "You're on your own." And I waited, and I remember the dress I was wearing. That's how poignant this was for me. I remember what I was wearing. I was wearing pink shorts and a yellow top. My hair was braided into 4. And I was just up there crying. And the security man was like, I was asking my mom, "Madam, make I bring her down?" That is, "Madam, should I bring her down?" My mother said, "No, her father is coming to meet her there." And my dad drove in. And as he drove in, I'm sure he was wondering, because the security man was downstairs, well, not downstairs, but he was at the foot of the ladder looking up at me. And I was sitting there crying. I was, I was holding on to the swing, the top of the ladder. And he came down, my dad came down and said, "What's going on here?" I remember he said, "How? Why?" And my dad had never shouted at me before, never. I was a spoiled child growing up. My dad would just tell you, "Don't do this because I said so. If your daddy says so, don't do it." And I was there. I mean, I'm sure it was probably about 2.5 hours, but it felt like 6 hours or 6 days. I was there. I needed to pee. I was sweating. And I was just praying for the rain to come, but nothing happened. And my dad came. What happened?
No, we can hear you.
Okay.
Go on.
Yeah. And my dad came and took me down, and I had never felt so, how I felt ashamed. I held on to him for life. I felt like, okay, so you have gone there now. I knew what I did was wrong, and I was wondering, to what end? What did you achieve? And I think that was the beginning of my fear of heights.
Wow.
After that, for me, if I'm in an elevator, I have to close my eyes, especially the transparent ones.
Mm-hmm.
So that was 4 for me. I remember it poignantly. It was, but growing up here was good. I remember TV used to start at 4 p.m. and we would do lesson. We would come back from school about 2:30. Lesson teacher would be waiting. Lesson teacher would have lunch with us. Then you do lesson till about 5, change, or you'll have changed before, depending. And then TV is always at 4. It was like an odd rainbow. It was green, yellow, red, white, and blue. I'm sure a lot of people remember this. And there's a song. There was a like an alarm. Yes, there was a and then when it's 3:45, and then it would take down to 4. And then you're just waiting for 4 o'clock. I remember the cartoons. There was Atom Ants. There was, much later, there was Danger Mouse. There was Tom and Jerry, which is still my favorite. I'm a cartoon person. I love cartoons. There was Tom and Jerry. There was He-Man and She-Ra, which was much later. Probably I was about 8 or 10. Terra Hawks.
But let me tell you, Abiola, with all these things that you're telling us, we can figure out how old you are, which we're not supposed to ask you.
Oh no, I have no qualms about my age. It's not a big deal.
Okay,
age is in the mind.
Yes, okay.
Okay, so and then I grew up, went to secondary school in Lagos. I did everything in Lagos actually. And then just as the year I was getting into university, my dad.
How fast are you going to move? We have enough time. From 4, we've gone straight to university.
So secondary.
This is interesting what you just said about this television thing, because we had a similar thing here. Our television also has started with a certain tune, and sometimes on WhatsApp, some people put that tune back. It used to start with the rainbow thing, this whole thing that you're talking about. It was to start with that. It's to stay there for quite some time, and then suddenly this tune used to come. So I'm telling you, very similar. As we talk, I think a lot of similarities will come in, I'm sure. That's why I'm telling you to talk about it. Otherwise, we would never have heard
so
this.
let me backtrack. So I remember we had adverts, like my Joy Girl. There was Joy soap. And then there was this advert with Patti Boulay. I remember that advert so well. She's a British Nigerian actress. There was that. And then we had programs like Village Headmaster. I'm hearing the song in my head. Everyone's MBO. I can't remember the name of the program, but I remember the song. Those were my first encounters with comedy. Then there was a program called Samanja. It was about an army officer.
What I'll do is
New Masquerade, yes. New Masquerade. And then there was a program about Samanja, who was kind of like a soldier.
It's not, and you're not going to move so fast. You'll tell us that story from Village Headmaster. You're going to tell us that also.
With the Village Headmaster. Okay. So obviously there was a village, there was a headmaster, and there was, now I think Village Headmaster was, okay, so now I'm mixing it up. There was also a program I used to love to watch called Ichioku. That program was, Ichioku was about the colonial times. I remember maybe I was about 2.5 or 3, but my dad used to record it. So we had this VHS. Was it VHS or Betamax? I can't even remember. But it was like a black rectangle. I think it was Betamax. It was shorter. The VHS was a little longer. And he would record it because he liked to watch it. So he would record it and not watch it until the weekend. So we used to binge. So before Netflix and chill, like Fola would say, I've been Ichio Queen and chilling with my dad. So we would he would watch it over the weekend. And that program, what happened was there was a man who spoke English, very fair-skinned man, who spoke English, who understood English, and who was the intermediary between the white colonialists and the village people. So he would say, now let's say the white man says, so there was always one white man with a funny accent. So let's say the white man says, tell them I'm not happy. He would say, oh, the white man says you should buy him 1 red cow, 1 green goat, and 6 chickens, and then he would say, if they don't do this, the gods will be angry and thunder would come and the people will be scared, and of course, because I know what the white man said, and the guy was having a ball with everyone. So I remember that program. It was a lot of fun. That I guess for me that was growing up for me. It was a lot of.
Let me just tell everyone that the chat is open. You can put it there. Someone has put Bassi and Company, Coco Close. You remember these?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Just give me 1 second. Let me put the light on. 1 second.
Okay.
Because the afternoon has changed to evening. So now I have to put the light on.
Okay.
For us.
Yeah. So for me, I think growing up was, for me, I wasn't much of a TV person, but I would watch those with my dad because for me, it was also a time to bond with him. I was a cartoon person, but nothing else interested me. The news was always boring because there was a really, really nasty song. It was, I can't remember. It was horrible.
We had a similar thing here.
It was horrible, and I'm like, oh my God, must it be so? It was nauseous. The sound to me was
part is that, and it's still in use till now. That's the scariest part of it.
Oh, I don't even watch. I watch certain channels. I'm not. Yeah. So okay. So that was 4, 5, 6.
No, but Abiola, how much younger is your sibling? It's a sister.
My immediate younger sister is 3 years younger than I am.
So that relationship.
So we're 5. Huh?
But that relationship, in terms of how did that work out when she was born? Because I'm sure you were the pampered one that time, the youngest, the only child first.
Yes, I think. Thinking back to that now, I think that's kind of what prepared me to be what I am now, what I do now. With my younger sister, we were actually quite close. We are quite close. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and I kept calling my sister's name. And she's like, I'm not Bimbo. But I kept on saying, oh, so Bimbo this. And my sister is Bimbo. But that's just, we were close. I mean, we used to fight because my sister, her birthday is actually in a couple of days. Today's the 27th. Her birthday is in 3 days. Her birthday is on the 30th of March. And
she's also there. She's also in Lagos.
No, she lives in Georgia. She lives in Atlanta, Georgia. So my birthday is in June. So she would have her birthday before me, at least after she got, with us. So she would have her birthday and everything would be fine. But then when it's my turn, my birthday is in June, she would throw a fit. Like, oh no, she wants the cake, she wants the dress, she wants this. So she wanted everything I had. And I think after about 3 years and my sister could cry. She could cry for Africa. I mean, amazing now. She's so different. But as a child, oh my goodness.
Maybe those were natural instincts because she had to get what she had to get. Maybe natural instincts came in that this is my weapon. This is how I will do it.
Yes, well, so she was, yeah.
But only thing, I'll tell you what, yeah. No, I was thinking that maybe at this point, we would also get Fola in because you guys would be about the same age, won't you? And I was just thinking when he was growing up.
She's a bit older.
Okay.
When
you said
big, years older than Fola.
And it's funny because we actually have similar childhood experiences. What I've been able to do over the past few years has been to lock it up somewhere. So having her talk about our childhood experiences just brought back mine. Actually we literally locked that part up and threw it away. So I'm just going to take off from where she stopped. Mine was a bit, be the only guy now. I was a TV addict, you understand? And I think that has also informed why I have Wednesdays and Thursdays as my favorite day of the week, because then you would come back from school, 6:30, you would watch Storyland. That's this program about, it's this program about some guy who tells children stories. Then we'll have that till 7. News was boring, so they would manage the news till like about 7:30. You understand? After 7:30, you would watch one other program. Then 8, you would watch Checkmate. Checkmate would start at 8, finish at 9.
What was that? What was Checkmate?
Was a program. It was like how do I explain Checkmate? Checkmate is like
was it series?
Yeah, where it was series. Yeah, it used to be the series of today. Yeah, where you would have an interesting program that is broken down into different hours, and an hour is played each week. So that used to be the highlight of the week for me. I would have that till like about 9. Then you have that boring news again till 10 o'clock. Then 10, you would watch what's it called?
No, but you have to tell Fola. You can't jump so fast. You have to tell us some story from Storyland.
No, I'm talking about 10 p.m.
No.
So
Storyland stories you have to tell us.
No, so tell us one of the stories.
Yeah, exactly. We have to know what was like.
Storyland.
I think those stories actually scarred me. Like that. Yeah, for real. Because there was this very funny story about this guy that would eat from the pot, and every time he ate from the pot, it would rain. And I enjoy eating from the pot, when you have to scratch that last burnt part. So the fact that you eat from the pot and you have this notion that it's going to rain someday kind of scarred me. Sometimes I really enjoy eating from the pot, that burnt part of it. So, and apart from the second one again had to do with what's it called? The fact that your teeth, that there was this story they said then that about this guy whose teeth came out, and he now threw the teeth on the roof. And the lizard now ate the teeth, and because of that, the teeth didn't go back again. So I remember losing my tooth and keeping it under my pillow and not throwing it away, because I had that fear that if I threw it away, one lizard would come and eat it. So here's the interesting thing about my own childhood. The good side of it, I would always try to reverse engineer it and look at the bad part of it. So if I do this, is this what will happen to me and all of that? So all in all, it was a very fun and interesting childhood. Spent the better part of my life watching TV, getting into one trouble or the other. The trouble, the life of an average young guy, average young boy growing up, always, if he's not getting into one trouble, he's coming out of another trouble. Yeah, that's it.
What I'm thinking, both of you have children. So in terms of their growing up, how different do you see their growing up than what you people grew up as, and the way they are?
I think their growing up is actually boring, if you ask me. All they want to do is just watch TV, play computer games. They're not interested in going out. They of course, you have to make that deliberate effort to make sure they socialize. But all in all, they're actually comfortable in that space, playing with computers, watching TV, and doing stuff on the internet. That interpersonal relationship where you would actually, well, like when we were growing up, we would go to my auntie's house, you sleep there, you have them come over and all of that. You see, that is actually getting low. It's not as prominent as it used to be now. So when I look at them, and sometimes I ask myself this question: if they're going to talk about childhood memories, what are they going to talk about really? They're not talking about one computer games, they're talking about this. So I think it's going to be a bit boring for them.
Tell me, even though in terms of like you have this like community, now you were going
Yes.
out and playing with friends outside. Did you have whatever some sports or something? But are
Yes.
these kids going out and doing the same thing? Do they have friends around, or are they only on their own kind of thing?
Mine do actually. We make extra effort to make sure they go into extracurricular activities. But the point is that it's not like how it used to be back in the days where you had everything. You'd stay. Now look at where I stay. I stay in a block of 6 flats, and the kids in the other flat don't even know. They haven't even met my kids before.
That's
Because
what I'm saying.
yeah. So, but I don't know where the change just came from. But it's a function of
I think it's the
everyone.
function
Yeah.
of I think it's the function of the decay in the society.
Exactly. Because I remember when I was growing up, every evening we would go out, the kids from the other block would come out, would play with each other and everything. But now everybody just seems to be keeping on their own, and you don't really want to go and be knocking on the doors and telling them that, okay, fine, can you bring your kids out? Can you, times have changed. Everybody seems to be a bit detached. Everybody seems to be a bit on their own, and you just tend to if everybody wants to keep to their own and mind their business, then so be it. Then you also mind your own business too.
Because
That's
I
really
think
how I see it. Yeah.
we should actually think why that happened, when that happened. Well, there must have been some reason for it, because we also don't know. Because I think the same thing happened here. Exactly the same thing happened here. When the next generation was not doing the same things. Look, the main thing is the community aspect. That has the connection with community. Like maybe the community became larger. Maybe because they were interacting with people on social media and things like that. Obviously, your children might not have started that now, but I'm saying that maybe that aspect changed their connections with people. Good or bad, I don't know. I mean, that part I can't say. But maybe it was that the change.
And I think it's just distraction. Everybody's just distracted. Like Abby said, if you had to wait until 4 p.m. to watch TV, practically didn't have anything to do now. So you always have to create fun for yourself. But now the TV is 24 hours, everything is 24 hours. At every point in time, they are distracted. They have there's something to do. We created fun out of boredom. They are not bored. They are not bored. So
I think also for that, just to add here, I think the fact that we had to get creative.
Exactly.
So it helped. We had to think of things to do. You had to formulate games or formulate stories. We had to do stuff to keep ourselves occupied until a certain time. Because I think when I was growing up, I think TV ended at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, something like that. Anyway, after 7 o'clock, there was nothing interesting on TV, at least for my age. So which means TV was literally from 4 to 7 or 6:59. Because once you heard that noise, and the news is on, that's it till tomorrow.
I would have actually loved to play. I would have loved to play it here, but the only thing, there might be copyright issues, so maybe this might be removed from YouTube. That's a different thing. But I'm telling you, I would have played the Indian one also. I would have played the African one or your Nigerian one, and I'm telling you that.
But now you mentioned this. Growing up, there's this gentleman. I think let me respect myself. Let me just say his name is Amitabh Bachchan.
Yes.
I grew up watching almost every movie he was in.
Seriously?
Almost every movie. I mean, I knew phrases in I don't know what language now. I can't remember.
Hindi.
But then
It's all Hindi. It's all Hindi.
It's Hindi. Yeah. As a child, I'm like, oh, you know what? I speak Indian.
It's Hindi. Yeah.
As a child, because there were so many phrases I would wink
Tell
at.
us. Tell us. No,
I
you
had
tell us. Tell us. It's going to be interesting because he's a legend in any case.
Like there's something called I know they used to say Babuji. I know Beta. Now I don't know what I can't tell you right now what they mean, but these are things I would.
Babuji is normally the people used to call their father Babuji, father, and Beta is child. It can be child also. It can be boy also. Yeah.
Okay, it would be. I know one phrase I remember would be a lady would have a child either running away or running to her, and she would shout "Mira Bita," and I'm like, oh my goodness, what happened to the child?
But
I don't even know what that means.
My kid, that's what I say, my kid, look, Beta can be kid also, it can be son also, both. Beta is son,
okay.
But when you get when your mother calls out, they can actually say to any child, but otherwise Beta is son. But I'm just thinking all this is happening in Hindi. You don't understand, there's no subtitles. There are no subtitles, nothing. You're watching the movie.
I think there were subtitles.
No,
and I remember there were a lot of police movies. I think there's one I remember, Dustin Numbary.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
I don't remember the name. I don't remember
I can play the song because I can't put it on the video, but I can play it here. The Dust Numbary was a song also. It was a song.
Okay, well, I know there was a movie.
Yeah, no, it was from the movie. It was from the movie, but that song also was a popular song.
I don't know. But that's how I identified the movie. And I remember the police officers were always in a brown uniform, and they always had mustaches, and they always wore the caps. And there was always a lot of singing. I remember my sisters and I would put crayon. We would use the crayon, and we would tie our. Oh, you're playing the song.
Yep. Come on, play. Okay, maybe because of the Zoom, it's not going to play. Let me switch the Zoom off. Let me make you a co-host so that this whole thing doesn't go off. One second.
Okay.
Let me switch off the Zoom from here. But that Dust Numbary was actually, I'm just trying to say what memories come back to you from that song. I just want to see. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, so actually my childhood was quite interesting.
No, I'm fascinated with this Amitabh Bachchan thing. I mean, it's amazing. Sitting in Nigeria.
I remember this song. I remember this part. Yeah.
I remember.
I think this was when he was chasing two armed robbers like this, and he now beat them up or something funny like that. I remember this part.
And I can't even remember the movie, but I remember that Dustin Numbary. Then I remember Seven Brides for Seven Brothers.
Yeah, the Hindi one was Satya Pe Satta.
Well, obviously I can't pronounce it.
Yeah, Satya Pe Satta.
Yeah, I remember
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
I remember that, the Indian one. I remember that.
Satya Pe Satta.
Yeah. Then I remember there was a movie, Snake Girl, or something like that.
No, Nagin.
Nagin.
Yes.
Nagin, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't remember the name, but I remember there was a temple, and I have a phobia for snakes. Like I can't even watch a cartoon of a snake. I have a phobia for snakes in particular. I don't like creepy crawlies, but snakes, I can't watch in a cartoon. So my children, when we're watching cartoon, like, Mommy, they're gonna show a snake. Close your eyes, close your eyes. But I remember I watched that movie. I can't remember it well because I'm sure I blocked it because of my phobia. But I watched that, and there was this movie. I'm seeing it.
Because I'm just interested that means they translated the name of the movie also. From Nagin, they made it Snake Woman. That's what it means. But I'm just saying that means you were seeing that in subtitles, and the name was also translated.
Yes, it was translated. Yes.
Not bad.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure if I think about it, there were lots. Well, I was actually there were so many Indian movies, and I used to think they sing so well, and they're always singing. Before you know it, you just said tum 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 tum, and then they're doing shows. I'm like, okay now. And you know one thing? I used to think they're saying yes. No, they're saying yes, and they're saying no. I'm like, You know, and I'm wondering
what is it?
what and, you know, when they're saying no, they're nodding their head like, to me, that's yes. But then they're saying yes. I'm like, okay, it must be a culture, it must be a language thing.
No, it's not really. I mean, I'm sure there was a shake of the head of a different kind. There was a little angle to it, surely. Maybe it was like that, or whatever it was. But I'm just very interested in it, because that means this guy, all the movies go all over. Definitely, they go all over. But
oh yeah. I remember I actually went to see Amitabh Bachchan about 5 years ago. In Canada.
Mm-hmm.
He came for the Toronto Film Festival, and I just had to go. I'm like, I grew up watching this guy. You know, I for me, he's an icon. I'm like, oh, I know. I felt like, you know, like there's this Nigerian actor I really like, RMD. I mean, I know him personally. So, but I'm just using that to say this. I felt like Amitabh Bachchan and I had a relationship. I felt like I knew him. I had watched so many movies he was in. And then I know they when they upset or when they greet, they touch the head to the feet of whoever is, maybe like their mother. If like, so let's say I was Indian, my mother, I would touch my head to her feet or something like that. And I thought that was so honoring.
Yep.
That part I actually thought was such an honor to whoever it was being done to.
Well, normally they go bow down, but they'll touch the feet with the hand. They touch the feet with the hand, but they bow down. They'll
something
bow down.
Yeah.
So, but no, is that similar? Is that similar? I mean, in Nigeria, do you have that concept with the elders? Do you do that?
We don't. We kneel down or prostrate. The gentlemen would prostrate. The females in Yoruba tradition. In Yoruba tradition, the Igbos don't do it. Hausa people, they have a certain way of greeting. They stoop down and put their hand on their elbow or something like that. I'm not too sure. But Yoruba people, the gentlemen prostrate, and then the women, the females kneel down to greet.
But that aspect I would have thought would be similar, because in terms of, I mean, some respecting the elders, the concept must be the same. Like you're saying, they do it differently, but I'm sure culturally, I'm sure that aspect stays in every culture. I'm sure. I mean, I'm not saying that it's only for us, but for all of us, I think. What do you think, Fola? What is your memory of Bollywood movies? Amitabh Bachchan is one.
Strangely enough, I actually watched a lot of Indian movies. I remember Nagin. I remember this Indian movie of this guy that entered into another guy. You understand? Now became very strong. I remember that I remember that song. I remember, but you know, after a while, I think I kind of outgrew Indian movies because it just became very, fights now. You won't fight, you sing. Shoot the man. You won't shoot the guy.
No, they never shoot. No.
You always shoot. You understand?
No, they don't shoot.
They make dying look so dramatic. I'm like, dude, just pick up this gun and kill this guy. Must you go through a lot of, you understand? So for me, it was fun. And when I think about it, then I remember Amma, Akbar, and
Anthony. Yes.
I
remember that.
I remember. Yeah, then just like everyone too, we all looked up to Amitabh Bachchan and seeing him. In fact, I don't think a movie was actually complete without seeing him in that movie.
I know.
Then I remember the days of
which means I have to also play Amar Akbar Anthony, because look, what I'm thinking is that songs bring back memories. So certain things of that period, maybe you will remember better if I actually play that song. Maybe.
No,
let's try it, Fola. Let's try it. It might be interesting. Who knows? But look, how old would you have been that time?
Okay, how old were you? I think I must have been maybe 6, 7.
So that means
anyway.
Look, otherwise, I'm telling you, the aspect of trying to remember that period is definitely otherwise difficult. But if you can actually put the song comes in, I'm sure it comes in.
You know, it's funny we're doing this because in my house, we actually play a game of charades with our memories.
Yep. Any
Oh my
memories coming in?
goodness. Oh my goodness.
Memories come in.
There were 3 brothers.
I can't look. I would have otherwise put it on YouTube, but I'm telling you, there are copyright issues there on videos.
Yeah.
So
Oh my
I won't do that.
goodness. Oh wow.
Okay, I can't remember that part.
Brings back any memories, Fola?
No,
No,
not
doesn't.
at
Okay.
all. Not at all. Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna watch those. I'm gonna go look for those movies on YouTube and watch
Yeah.
them again.
Yeah. But what
Okay,
happens?
so
Do these
let's
movies come on Netflix
let's
and all?
move.
Do they have move where? What
Yeah,
is this
some of
moving? Where are you moving? You always on the move. Always I see his WhatsApp messages. What move? Something move. What is that? We're moving. I don't know whatever. All that time
Okay,
I
that's
see that.
actually it's actually slang. When you say we move,
Yeah,
that
we
means you're
move.
going to we move. Yeah, yeah. You've
We
actually
keep
been
going. We
Yeah.
don't
yeah, we keep
stop.
going. Yeah, yeah, we
Right
keep
now
going.
here Fola, we've tried to put you, we're trying to kind of putting some brakes on you, which is difficult, but we're putting some brakes, we're taking it slowly because you are going to go straight into mediation. Hey, this is how you promote mediation. No, we're not there at all. We're not getting there at all. We'll do that anytime with you. You always do that. It's about the person. It's about the person, these interesting things or interesting moments, what you did, because all those influence your life. I mean, the fact that culturally, if you can relate to India, because look, movies also program you. So culturally, like Abby said, that touching the feet or whatever, you saw that. So that respect for the elders, maybe somewhere in your mind stays. The movies program. I mean, I'm saying that good or bad. Some things, I'm sure there are Hollywood movies which are programmed in us in a certain way. And the way alcohol is shown in movies, I'm sure the alcohol promotion board funds those movies in some way, sponsors that. Every little thing, some alcohol comes out. Beer comes out like, okay, here. I mean, in houses, you don't walk into a house and a beer is thrown at you. So that
True.
programming, movies do program people. So I'm just thinking.
Yeah, there's subliminal messages.
That's how it is, yeah. Because I'm amazed when I see that. When I see the way you bring in alcohol into society as part, you can't even talk to people without it. It's programmed you to believe that. What is that? What is that smile for, Abby? You have to tell us what that message is. You have
You
to
said
tell us.
What?
We have to tell us what that message. What's that message that brought a smile to you? You have to tell us. What
Oh, yes. I just received an alert.
what is? Look, this is during the
About
show.
to make anybody smile.
During the show, whatever messages you receive, you have to repeat them here. You have to tell us what it is.
I'm telling you, I just received an alert.
Okay.
Do you know what that is?
Yeah, got a nice smile on your
Yes.
face.
Yes.
Good.
I mean, my account is fatter.
Yeah, exactly. I can understand. But okay, the other part was whatever you receive in this period, you have to transfer that.
Oh, says him who's been eating and didn't offer us. Oh my goodness, you do not want to go there. You've been eating. I've been watching you.
What can I do? Look, think of me. We started that at 2:00 India time. Okay, so that finished at 3:40. I mean 5:40 India time. I rushed, got a cup of tea, and I was here. So you have to give me that much leeway to eat a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what? I mean, this is of course movies, but what about games? What games were you playing? Not in general. I mean, not.
I liked Snakes and Ladder.
Mm-hmm. But what about card games? Were there some card games?
Card
games.
I was never really good with card games. I never got it for some reason. Apart from the regular one, the regular ace and spades and spades. There was something called Uno.
Yeah.
I don't remember how it was played, but I remember
you had different colors. You had different colors with different numbers on it, and you basically either put that number on it or you put the color on it. Something like that.
I don't even remember, but I remember we used to play Uno.
No, but
and then there was Ludo.
Yeah, Ludo. But
Ludo.
Do these kids still play that?
My children do.
Your kids
my children do.
Yeah?
My children do. Yeah.
But they're older. They're older than Fola's kids. They're older than Fola's kids.
Yes.
Oh yes. Double, triple.
Yeah, but are your kids playing, Fola? Are your kids playing any of these things?
No, they are not playing. My kids are very young. The first is 5, the second is 3. Our first is almost quadruple the age of my first one. So
Can you, Fola, do me a favor? Can you go and buy snakes and ladders?
Yes.
One of these days, just go and buy snakes and ladders and give it to them. Let's see how they react to it. A board game.
I don't give a snake and ladder game to a 5-year-old because the chances that the seed will just disappear somewhere it's not supposed to disappear into. Exactly.
What is it?
Yeah.
The seeds, the dice.
They eat that. Yeah? They're old enough to understand. No? No?
They're 5.
You'll be surprised. Children.
Yeah.
Wow.
I just wanted to know what it felt like in my mouth. And then before you know it just went down. Mommy, why? How did it get there? What am I going to do?
So basically,
they're still a bit so young.
So they're also finally going to play Ludo on an app. That's what's going to happen. They'll have a Ludo.
Yes.
There is a Ludo app.
But you know what I do?
Yes.
There's Snake and Ladders. There's the app as well. But I don't let my children, because for interaction, I said, no, we have games nights.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually have to all sit down. Everybody puts their phone away.
Yeah.
You put your phone on silent. No buzzing, nothing. Nobody's disturbing anybody. All that matters is everyone in this room. And we sit down and we play.
Yeah.
We play until we're tired. So everybody's done their chores. There's nothing, everybody just sits down and we play until we're tired. But now my baby is a sore loser. I mean, but you know what I realized? If we're playing, he would just scatter just scatter the whole board. He is such a sore loser.
How old is he?
He's going to be 11.
Okay.
He's going to be 11 this summer. But he's such a sore loser. He likes to win all the time. If he doesn't win, then he's sulking for a day and a half.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
But hey, But I think it's good because in this generation, and I shared something with Fola a while back. There's a movie on Netflix. Fola, remind me. I don't remember. We watched it. I told you to watch it. Social Dilemma.
Social Dilemma.
Oh yeah, Social Dilemma. Yeah.
I made my children watch it. It's so real because we're so detached from everything else, and we are now. I forget what the phrase is. There's something they call people who are attached to their phones. We're so attached to our phones.
It's almost like an addiction, if you ask me.
It is an addiction.
Yeah. No, but I'm telling you, the interesting thing in that Social Dilemma was the fact that the way they portrayed it, that these two people are standing there and they're actually sending out messages. Okay, send him this. Now send him that. Now he's looking at this. Let's do that. And get your interest there all the time. Send that link to that video. Do that. I thought that's actually what's happening. And there's no end to it. There's no end to it, however. Things will keep coming and you'll be scrolling through it. They know your interests. They know everything. Very interesting. No, but then you have to fight it. I mean, I'm telling you, this is finally something you have to be able to control yourself because you can't cut yourself off from the phone, definitely.
But you see, that's what's happening. Now, that takes us back to how it was when I was growing up as opposed to how it is now. I mean, there was nothing like it. I remember my phone number. 961-293. That was my phone number.
2704.
No, 774 is even multi-links. My number was Nitel. 774 is multi-links. I remember I had a 774-6822. That was my 774. But 961-293 was a Nitel number. That was my phone number. And you had to wait for a dial tone. You actually had, when you pick up the phone, you would have to wait to hear, that's a dial tone. Now that dial tone, there are two kinds. There's the one from the phone. There's the one from the slap. I don't know if you used to do those things. If my mommy is calling you and you're not answering, and she comes close to you, you automatic dial tone. By the time she slaps you, automatic. Not even like the phone. The phone, you're waiting. My mom's zone is automatic. You'll be hearing your ancestors call you different names. But I remember that we used to we would have to wait for a dial tone, and then it was the
phone,
phone that you would have to go round and go round and go round before you make a call. That was what it was. But now everybody has a phone, and your phone does a myriad of things. It's a camera, it's your Bible, it's your everything. It's your purse.
Everything. It's your torch. Your flashlight is there.
It's exactly.
Your
the only thing it's not doing now is giving you a bath. Yeah.
Well, tell me what age are you going to give your kids a phone?
Going to? Oh, that's already done.
Okay,
that's already done.
11 is done. Okay,
I gave I did for them. My first son, he did at 14. I think 14.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my second son, he did at 10, and then my baby 10.
Wow.
So he got his phone last summer for his 10th birthday.
10 is a little early, that I would think. I don't know, but can you stop them or not? That's the problem. There's so much social pressure on them with everyone around.
Well, I guess
But Fola, when are your kids going to get it?
Probably not in another 7 years. I can promise you that.
Yeah, so about 14, I think.
Yeah, 14 or thereabout. Yeah. So hopefully there will be some kind of restraint, because my greatest fear about social media is just the fact that it's unrestrained. It's unbridled. You can't uncensored. There's so much you can do when it comes to censorship and you trying to restrict them. There's so much you can do. So much you can do. So you just have to learn to trust that when they get to that stage, they won't get to do what they shouldn't do. But then again, you also can't take away the issue of undue influence, external influence, because a lot of times they tend to spend more time outside with their colleagues and friends, friends, than they do inside. So if they go to school at about 8, they're not back until like about 5. So really, you ask yourself this question: how many hours of the day do you really get to spend with them, save for weekends? So the external influence is just becoming more, and it's a bit of a concern anyway. But then again, what can
but I'm just thinking that the next generation, I think that generation, we are a little too protective about them. I think when we were growing up, I don't think that aspect ever came up. You were on your own, you were doing whatever you were doing. But now with these concerns that have come in, because like you said, external influences of various kinds. So I think that part of it, how do you balance it out? Because you still want them to be independent, but you still kind of want to protect them. It is, I think, an issue. What do you think?
But then again, you also can't take away from okay, Abi.
Abiola's got a signal issue.
No, go ahead, Far.
Yeah, you also can't take away something a lot of us did when we were growing up. The attitude of living double lives. You know, the life, the personality the parents knew is different from the personality in school. So so at the end of the day, you really it's a function of what you show them that they see. So when you've probably been down that road, you also don't want a repeat of that with your kids. I don't know whether you understand where I'm coming from. Abi, you want to speak to that?
Yeah, but isn't that how it is with everyone, though?
Mm-hmm.
But is that how it should be? Is that how?
No, but that's how it is with. No, when you said something now, and it just got my attention. You said you only. I mean, I've realized that everybody knows everybody in different capacities. So now tying that in with children and the times we're in, I'm of the opinion that it's as a parent, you need to pay attention, because even if the child isn't showing you a certain thing, you should be, you're older and wiser. That's where wisdom or knowledge comes into play.
I think the problem is that we actually are expecting a lot from them, and at that age, for them to even understand a lot of things definitely is difficult. I mean, you can't be, you want them to be responsible, but at the same time, you do feel that do they understand what is happening? So it's a different world they've been put into, totally different world they are in. and how do they react? I think we'll just have to let it be. I mean,
No, but I
I'm
think
in a different situation altogether. I'm not even close to what you people are. My daughter's much older, so that's not an issue with me. But I'm just
yeah, but you know what? We also have to contend with the fact that back in the days, it used to be just two teachers, probably maybe the parents and the teachers in school. But now there are so many influences coming from outside. You have teachers from the internet, you have teachers from everywhere. So you have so much influence that for me, I think it can be a bit overwhelming for them because it now gets to a point where they can't even distinguish right from wrong, bad from good, or good from evil. They just it's a different ball game. I dare say that the generation of kids we have now, I don't think our parents are. I don't think they even have. If you look at the children being born now, what they do, and look at how we're taught, I very much doubt if they have the. I don't want to use the word capacity to deal. It's like using an analog mindset to deal with a digital problem. There would always be a conflict
okay,
somewhere.
let's look at the positives. Let's look
Uh-huh.
at the positives. The positives is that they're exposed to so much at a young age. Maybe that might in as they go forward, they would have seen a lot of the world already. So when we were growing up, you actually walked into a world much later. They're walking into a world much faster. So I think maybe they'll be able to distinguish between right and wrong faster.
More like being exposed to too much because there's so much you can take at a particular age. I think just like knowledge, it should come in phases. So when you are between ages 1 to 5, there's a certain level of knowledge you should take between 1 to 5. If you start taking the knowledge of 10 between the window of 1 to 5, or at some point in time, there will be some kind of clash. And if you look at the way we were brought up, we were also brought up in stages, brought up to assimilate and take things steadily, but not now. Not now when a 5-year-old can conveniently access YouTube. My daughter can go to YouTube or, without any assistance. But she literally likes to watch Coco Melon. She can't read. She can spell, but if she's going to look for Coco Melon or Peppa Pig, she would rather look at the figures than to look for it. So you cannot imagine if somewhere along the line, I'm not at home, there's something that she's not supposed to click on, and she clicks on it, and she knows now that okay, fine, I'm not supposed to watch this. Then whenever that is not around, so listen. Like I said, the dynamics are too much. I fear to say that they go up way faster than they should go.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there's so much you can do as a parent to restrict it. Yeah. So
That's what I'm thinking. That the
it's
exposure,
scary and it's also fascinating.
but the exposure to life is thousands of times more than what we would have seen. So much they are getting exposed to. So I think that part of it is obviously important, but I think we'll have to move away from that generation and move to your generation. We've just gone through movies and we've gone through games. What about outdoor games? What's happening on outdoor games? What was happening at that time?
No, no, no.
Well,
Is it?
my compound, we had a swing. So I was always on the swing for me. And we had a bicycle. Every child had their bicycle. I fell off mine the first time and I never got back on. I'm still in the process of learning how to ride. I haven't, I don't know how to ride a bike unless it's one in the gym. So we had a bicycles, we had a swing. My compound, we had a lot of space. So there's always.
But how we're looking at it is that you had a privileged life. You had a privileged life compared to what Nigeria would be.
No, I think that was at that time, it was what every other person had. Then at that time, or maybe every other person I knew.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't speak for who I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but then
maybe I don't know.
No, but when you move into school also you have similar kind of people. So you're not really I mean, in terms of the larger population, you're not really exposed to that at that age. But what about you?
Well,
Fola, the same thing with you?
Okay, I was really hoping you were not going to ask me that question because I didn't have swings. I had to roll tires. You understand? We use tires. You roll them. You had this stick to navigate those tires. So that more like driving. Then I had to use swing.
Stick.
No. I didn't. Yeah, you had to use the stick to navigate here. And then of course yeah, it was mostly football. It was mostly football, mostly handball. Then a lot of fighting. A lot of fighting. You would have some acting as the good guys, the others acting as the bad guys. Then there was a lot of hide and seek. A lot
Oh
of hide and
yes,
seek.
hide and seek. Yeah.
No, not your kind of hide and seek. We're not talking about hiding in a room. We're talking about hiding in obscure places and literally
outdoor.
finding them, and outdoor. Probably going to hide in the compound of somebody else, and you're fine. So it was just, boys. Now boys will always be boys at the end of the day. So it wasn't.
We're 4 girls and 1 boy. Our boy is the youngest, so
Okay. So that was how it was.
That's what, yeah, because that's what I'm thinking, that will be varied kind of things. But finally, if you look at anywhere, I mean, I'm looking from the Indian perspective. Also, the similar things. I mean, the kids will be doing the similar things everywhere. So that part of it is also interesting, that how in a different country, children are growing up and they're doing the same things. How does that happen is very interesting. But like, I don't know how that happens. They're not talking to each other. They're not telling each other that
it's not planned.
It's not planned
It's
at all.
just norms. I think it's just norms.
So there's some basics that are there. I mean, the basics that you pick up, and that look. I mean, in terms of the digital world, obviously they are influenced by similar things, because the certain companies or certain apps or whatever have done well, and they're out there for everyone. But I'm talking about a time there is no communication, except Amitabh Bachchan movies are reaching Nigeria. That's interesting. But otherwise, look, the tire thing that he's talking about, I've seen kids doing that here also. So that's a similar thing which happens everywhere. So it's a very basic thing for a child to do. So I think there's certain basics which unite us, and we have to get down to those basics.
Which is our human instincts.
Yep. I think connecting to that is it a challenge, or is that the way we have to go about it? I don't know. We have to do that to be able to move away from everything that is in terms of push to us, and move to that basic thing that as people we are, and connecting that aspect. I don't know. I think maybe a little too serious a subject to talk about. Maybe
that's a lot of. It's not. There's different levels to that.
Yeah.
I think there's loads of levels to that. It's not just on one facet or one level.
No, I mean, from that example, what I'm saying is that there are certain basics which connect us without us having to tell each other. It's already there. I mean, those connections are there in terms of how basically we think. It's a basic thing. Like, I mean, from that example, a kid picks up a tire, picks up a stick, and goes off onto the road and is enjoying himself or herself, whatever gender. I mean, let's not do the gender part, anyone. So that means there's certain basics you just are like that. You're programmed, or you genetically, or whatever, however it comes to you. But those are basics that you are part of. And then the world throws things to you. They throw in the apps, then they throw in whatever other things to you, and then you start getting programmed on a different level altogether.
I guess, yeah, that's life.
So there is some basic programming that we come with, and if we can hit that basic, I think that connects people all over. I was thinking, maybe.
Yes.
Well, I think maybe Fola too serious a topic to talk about.
Very, very too serious.
Yeah, let's get this out.
Like you said, it's multi-layered. So when you see me going quiet on a topic, it's a topic it's not as if we can't discuss it, but it's a topic that is different. It has different sides to it. The interpretation I would give to answering it might be different from what she wants to say. So, and I don't think that's what we're doing today. So let's
tell why it's important. No, important for me, because look, I'm connecting to people all over the world. And there is according to me, there are some basic traits, you can call them, a basic cultural aspect or whatever it might be, which connect people. So you can, I mean, I'm not saying that you can connect to everyone. I mean, definitely you're not out there to connect to how many billion people we have. So obviously that part of it. I mean, I'm just saying you can connect to a basic in any part of the world.
True. I totally agree with you.
And I mean, finally, look, we are limited in terms of the interactions we can have. Whatever it might be, you might be in part of social media, you might have 10,000 followers, but they're just 10,000 out of the billions. There are billions out there. So I'm just saying we're not trying to, maybe not able to connect to everyone, but an Amitabh Bachchan connects with a person in Nigeria. So there's some basic things that we have in common. Otherwise, why would someone enjoy watching that sitting there? He doesn't understand the language. Maybe subtitles are there, but
No,
it's
subtitles.
but it's still like you said, beta, that part of the mother saying that something connected somewhere.
Yes,
So the certain
yes.
emotions connect or whatever it might be. So maybe why don't we let's ask people to ask things. People, it's all open now. You can ask something, but please put your digital hand up, virtual hand up, and let's get to people. Anyone has anything for Fola, Abiola, and not about mediation. We are not talking mediation at all. About childhood, anything? Anyone? Anyone? Where's our friend gone? So no one has anything to say. And I thought people were interested to talk to.
I think the misconception was this is going to be mediation based.
I know, I can see that.
Yeah, because if you look at the number of people here, we had more people earlier.
Yeah, they dropped out. They understood. Nothing is coming. And it's very interesting that's exactly what people want to talk about. And with me, that's the only thing I don't want to talk about. None of my shows, nowhere would you even hear me talking about mediation. People with Ken Cloak, he was there, and people were thinking that now he's going to talk about this. I said, look, he does training programs. He charges for it. Go attend the training program. I'm not going to ask him to give that knowledge here. We are talking about the person, all those things, which because you guys also, I mean, you're getting both of you will also get so lost in the whatever professional world that you are in. You'll forget yourself, and I don't want you to forget yourself. I want to remember those aspects of you because they connect you to a time, connect you to a person, which definitely sitting there, and that will be helpful in your mediations also. That person, to connect with that person, to not be able to put layers. So Mojisola had something to say. I don't know, am I getting, just tell me if I'm getting the pronunciations wrong. Yes, Mojisola.
I think you got it right.
Mojisola?
Yeah.
Yes, Mojisola. This is the only problem with Africa. This problem comes in. Why don't you type out your message? Mojisola, why don't you, your voice is cracking. Why don't you type it out? I'll read it out. No, we can't hear you. We can't hear you. It's all cracking up. It's all cracking up. Why don't you type it out? Why don't you type it out in the chat and I'll read it out? Yep. Because do something, Fola, about this connectivity.
What's Fola going to do?
I'm telling you what he's going to do. He's going to promote. Look, Elon Musk.
I'm not the
started
president.
SpaceX. No, SpaceX. Never get the government into anything. They are doing what they have to do. I'm just thinking that Elon Musk comes out with this whole.
Fola, good afternoon. Good afternoon.
No,
good afternoon, Mrs. Mojisola. Yeah, I can hear.
Afternoon.
Yeah.
We can't hear you because your voice is cracking up. You'll have to type it out. There is no option left.
We can't hear you.
No, I'm just thinking. Do you know that this whole satellite?
Fumi's hand is up as well.
Yeah, Fumi. Please, can I say Fumi?
Okay.
I don't know.
Yes, Fumi, correct.
I'm going to say Fumi.
It's Fumi. Yeah. Yes, Fumi. Yes. Good afternoon. How are you?
Very good. How are you?
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Let me tell you one thing, Fumi.
Okay.
Let me tell you one thing. For all webinars, anywhere, the moment you say, "Can you hear me?" what can be the answer to that? If they can't hear you, they can't hear you. They can't answer that question. If they can hear you, they will answer the question. Don't even ask that question because the answer, you know what the answer is going to be. Okay, so now
this is
exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so I can go ahead. Okay, really, I mean, when I tune in, I wasn't sure of the timing. 6 o'clock, I was thinking, my mind was 6 o'clock in the evening. I didn't realize it's going to be 6 o'clock Indian time. So I wasn't sure. So I was on another webinar. So when I just tuned in, I saw something, picture of the posted by, I don't know whether Fola or Abiola. So when I tuned in and I saw the kind of discussion, I was like, okay, I've missed this program. That was my first thought. Because when I heard that when Abiola was discussing about Pashan and all those stuff and the discussion. So I thought, okay, well, I said, okay, let me just see. maybe that's the after event thought and everything. But like you said, when I was growing up, I loved Indian films a lot. I mean, most kids, most students, when we were young, we loved Indian films a lot. I remember Amitabh Bachchan, Dharmendra, Jitendra, I remember Amma Malin, all those women, Amma Malin, and all those Bunny Train. Yes, the Bunny Train, the this other one, a lot of them. I mean, they're very nice.
No,
yes,
for me, I tell you what problem that you've done for yourself. Now, from those movies, you have to sing a song. That is what you've done to yourself. You did it. I did not do it.
Let me see.
Yes.
Okay, the one I remember. La la la. Oh, I can't remember much, but I enjoyed all the dancing.
He'll come back. He'll come
singing.
back. He'll come back. If you think about it, he'll come back. You'll remember it.
Maybe I'll try. I will try and remember some, but they were very. It was fun growing up. Really, we had a lot of things outdoor, just like Abiola and Fola mentioned, outdoor games and all those things. And like you said, it seems there were some connections, even though there was no internet, there was nothing, and we were able, as growing up kids, we were able to do the same thing at different continents, different locations, and there was no, there was so much connection. I mean, it was fun, really. We had everything was natural, let me put it that way, and we really enjoyed it. So,
doesn't that make you happy? So that makes you happy that people are connected in a basic. This is what I was telling them right now. That people are connected on a basic level. Yeah. It's just that the programming that is done to us later through whatever, it could be movies, could be literature, could be social media, whatever it is, it programs you differently. But otherwise, there is, according to me, there is a connect there.
Yeah. You know, and the good old days, we always remember. We remember some of the things that we did when we were still young. You know.
Tell us something.
It was fun. Like the hide and seek, what is it now? Hide and seek that game. And I remember we used to do husband and wife. I remember, you know, as children, somebody would act as the husband and you would act as the wife. You know, we want to do what things like that.
Oh, but let me for me that at that age itself, the roles for the genders was already defined. That the wife will do this, husband will do that. Was it like that? The kids when they were playing.
Yeah, we just want to have a feel of how it is when you are grown up as a wife or as husband and everything. But just fun, really. But when we had a lot of clean minds, open minds. I mean, we just had play with each other, and that was really
but where did you grow up? Which place did you grow up?
Lagos. I grew up in Lagos. Okay. I was born, buttered and toasted in Lagos. I'm from Ogun State, but I was born in Lagos, and I grew up in Lagos.
So you guys have kind of similar places you've moved. But only thing is that within Lagos also definitely every area would have been different, and in terms of the way what kids were doing, I don't know what they were. Was this different in terms of the people who were privileged, not so privileged? There would have been different.
There was no much difference that time. Not much.
Yeah, actually.
More because everybody had access to the basic things of life. It was much more. The demarcation wasn't this clear then. You know, so it was not much different in terms of whatever. And I've been to India before. I just want to put that in perspective.
Okay. So now we have
New Delhi. Sorry, so that you know, I was in New Delhi. I was there sometimes 2014 years. I came on a training. I was at a State Bank of Indian Academy. Came for a training 1 week, and they took us rounds. We went to Taj Mahal.
Very nice.
Took us to some other interesting places. Yes. We stayed at Gwangan. Yes, that's the name. Gwangan. That's aspect of New Delhi. Yes. You know, so it was fun. It's nice to meet with other people, you know, around your continent, the world, and see how people was even fun.
But Fola, no, it goes. Mojisola is left. I put that thing there. I wanted to talk about the 60-year-old, but she's left. So
Okay.
can't ask that question. I mean, I can't let her.
I didn't leave.
You there?
I'm
No, you're
here.
there.
Can you
Okay,
hear
you're there.
me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes.
I'm here. Oh,
So now
you've
told us,
that,
what you've told us, Mojisola, is that you're above 60. That's what you've told us.
I'm almost 80, 1 year
Yes,
to 80.
exactly. You just told us that. So then why did you say over 60?
And I just want to say,
Then,
yeah, well, some 60-year-olds are already grandparents. That's why I just put 60.
So tell us about that.
Hello?
Yes, now please tell us how. First of all, you have to tell us when you
Okay,
were
you
growing
know,
up. No, you have to tell us first when you were growing up. What was it like?
I was born in Ibadan, is the largest city in Africa. I was growing up there in an area where we were all mixed tribes, Igbo, Yoruba, Shekiri. So I found myself speaking 3 languages as a 3-year or 4-year, which is in Ondo State. Spoke Yoruba, which is was the general language, and spoke what they call broken English, pidgin English, and that's what everybody else spoke. And I found life was, should I say, much easier for children and not so easy, like we had to fetch water from a public tap. Now, homes have taps everywhere. So when I talk about carrying buckets on my head, I cannot understand it. Why did you have to carry buckets? And I said, because there was no tap in my house. And then we had kidnapping even in the 40s. That had to follow me so that I wouldn't be hidden on the way. Going to throw somebody in the house had to follow the children, going to fetch water, one adult bag immediately after the war, and immediately after war, like it is now. But then it went down and life was much easier. And then I remember we had to carry our school box, the books in a box, in a metal box on our heads to school. Some of us had no shoes to wear. Some had shoes, some privileged ones like me, because I was an only child. So I afford to buy me shoes for school. But if you came from, so you had to trek, barefooted to school. And we didn't have to learn too many. There was only one redivision box. Those who are over 50 remember that. There was a redivision box, one in every house. And it was from dawn, and it stopped working until Western Nigeria established the WNTV, Western Nigeria Television. That was the first TV in the Western region.
What year was that? What year did that happen?
And I was in Form 5. 1960. Okay. Okay. It was a memorable, and honestly, it was a wonderful thing. I was in Form 5, about to leave school, and when I left school, I did some adventure, which by the grace of God, I quickly turned back. They gathered some of us young girls from school to be singing in that television house. And my classmate called me and I joined them. That was an experience. But one day they called me and something inside my head turned around and said, look, Moji, you cannot be singing on TV. Your mother will kill you. You are supposed to go to higher school. and continue with your education. What are you doing singing on TV? So eyes opened and I said, wow, that's true. If I continue singing on TV, I won't be able to go to higher school, that's for advanced level, and I won't go to university, and that's the end of life for me, as my mother used to tell me. My mother stamped it in my head that the only way out of poverty for me was to go to school and
So which
get good education.
Which means the world lost a singer. That means
going up when I now, which pardon?
That means the world lost a singer. We lost a singer.
Yes.
It doesn't matter
No,
that the
I
world.
wasn't
No,
a
what I'm saying,
singer.
Gojisola, is the world might have lost the singer, but right now we have a singer with us. Why
Yes,
don't you?
they lost.
No, we have
They
not
lost
lost
the
it. We
singer.
can
They
hear you.
lost the
We can hear you sing now. Please sing us a nice one of those
You want me
Nigerian.
to sing a nice? You want me to sing? Okay, let me sing you the song we sang during independence in Nigeria, in Ibadan.
Yep.
When we went to the race course in Ibadan, the arena, to receive the Princess Alexandra, who presented Queen Elizabeth II. I will sing it. I hope the Yoruba people will understand it. I can translate it into English. It went like this. Forgive my croaking voice. I'm now an
No, it's
old
perfect
woman.
voice. It's a perfect voice.
Àwọn ọmọ ọba tó wá bẹ̀ wá wò, òmìnira ti délẹ̀ yìí o, káàbọ̀ á wọlé akínyìn púpọ̀ tó. Àwa ọmọ Nàìjíríà à ń kí yín ẹ kú roughly. Who has come to visit us. Independence has come to our you warmly. We greet you, we welcome you warmly to this celebration. And it went like that. And you know the one that really that I remember now was, you know what I'm talking about. We traveled from St. Anne's at the end of Ibadan to the other end of the town. Left school at 5 a.m., carrying our lanterns, and trekked, waving our flags. The day I recounted it in Ibadan in our school 2 years ago during our 150th anniversary, the students said, no, you couldn't have trekked. I said, yes, you did. If it's today, the principal will be charged for child abuse. How could you make little girls trek that far? But we did, and we really enjoyed it. And you know, the jollof rice we ate when we came back to school was not cooked with tomato puree. It was cooked with palm oil. Those who know how to cook jollof rice know, if you cook jollof rice with palm oil now, your children will throw it at your face. So it was quite interesting growing up. We had adventures. We had space to play in. We didn't have fences between houses. So we knew everybody on the street, knew everybody else. And I can remember if my mother sent me to the market, Dugbe market, we were living in Ekotedo, everybody will be saying, Moji, you better go where you are going, or I will tell your mother, and I will run quickly. Everybody looked after everybody else's child. It is not now. If you scold, if you correct a child now, the mother will come and meet you. What did my child do to you that you were scolding him? And you know, so children are just growing. I'm sorry to say, like weeds. Nobody is weeding anybody out of good crops. And I'm sorry for today's parents. I'm sorry for my children, because I have teenage grandchildren, and I can see that my children are struggling to give them the type of upbringing I gave them, but it's not possible. They can't give it. They cannot give it, because the children today are so whelmed in, like somebody said, they're hooked in the house. They can't even see the neighbor. The fence is high. And even the open spaces where my children used to play on are all built up. Anybody who lives in Lagos will know not Banana Island. What do you call it now? The one before Banana Island, Parkview. Parkview was a swamp beside the lagoon, and it had all sorts of little sea animals. that my children used to love to go and play with. Now it's all built up with all sorts of ugly mansions. Most of them are not inhabited by anybody. Children now have to go to Silverbird Galleria to watch all sorts of movies and so on. It's sad, it's sad. Honestly, I watch my little grand, they're not having outdoor lives, and it is sad. A child should have a children. Now I tell them, look down when you are walking. You can see an ant, you can see a fly, you can see plants, but they don't know what they learn either from Google. Let me give you one joke. My granddaughter in Canada likes custard. So I said, come, let me teach you how to make custard. And she said, Grandma, I will Google it. Oh, so I said, okay, it's on Google. So she Googled and she made custard from Google, and custard was watery and not well done. And she came crying, oh, Grandma, my custard is watery and not well done. I said, please Google it. She said, I Googled, but Google is not telling me. I said, I told you, come and see firsthand. So I taught her how to redeem that one and also to start afresh. I do agree. Technology is good, but honestly, it's so much confusion. It's so much confusion, and it's giving us so much.
No, but
people don't know how to process what you have to.
What you have to do is you have to now tell people what they should do to correct this, because we know the problems everyone has seen, but because the way one thing I see is that the communities have to become stronger. The whole children should feel part of a community. Why are they not being able to be part of the physical community? They're part of communities online and everything. So where did we go wrong there?
Okay, can I come in? Can I come in? Do you know what I do now? And my children are very scared. They said, one day, we hope somebody will not give you a dirty slap. And I said, if I'm slapped because I'm telling somebody what you are doing does not go right, now they say now there's only like right and wrong. I mean, that's philosophers for you. But I tell them, this thing you are doing doesn't look well on you. Like wearing ragged jeans. I call it rags. The young people tell me, no, it's fine. I say, it's rag. It's rag. Okay, when you get back, check your dictionary. What is the meaning of rag? It is what you're wearing. And don't wear it because man, I stop and I tell, stand, please, good comportment. I tell boys, this hairdo you are wearing, do you look at yourself in the mirror? You home and go and change your clothes and eat and start these younger people. What they should do to make them on social media, and at times we get abused, we get all sorts of comments, and but I talk to those I can talk to. When I see walk past them and shake my head, but most of the time, older African, I try to tell them, don't do this. But one thing I found is that our children are not speaking the language. And you know, I'm a Yoruba woman, and in Africa, we have so many proverbs. And those proverbs were designed by our ancestors to condition, I mean, I don't want to say condition, to teach us about.
Yeah. So I tell you what will happen now. Abiola and Fola will put out all these various proverbs and also these stories
together.
Yeah, old stories.
But now they don't teach your grandchildren.
Yeah. No, I think what is that?
I like the Indians.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here. I can hear you.
No, you were saying something?
The Indians.
Yeah.
Yes, I said I like the Indians because my daughter lives in Canada and my granddaughter has many Indian friends, and they speak Indian, where I say Indian languages in their homes. But my grandchildren do not speak my language, and it hurts me. Because when they were growing up, I wanted to speak, but their daddy said, no, those boys, they are English. Now they are begging me to speak Yoruba to them. And I said, no, it's your duty. I taught you Yoruba, now you teach your children. I cannot teach them now when they are in their 20s. It's not going to be easy. Now they have to learn it like a foreign language when they should have grown up with it the way I did. The proverbs are so beautiful. They teach you morals, they teach you communication, they teach you relationship building. But when they don't speak it, an English language doesn't have such proverbs. They don't have it. And they don't even speak the good English. They don't speak the good English. My dear Fola and Abi, I appreciate what you're doing. I joined midway and I was also confused. I thought we were still breaking the ground until case communication with a beautiful mind conversation. So I decided to put in my own little.
I tell you what, Moji sir, I'll tell you something. Let me tell you something. Basically, this was supposed to be a conversation with two beautiful minds. That was Fola and Abiola. But now you have also joined the gang. Now it was a conversation with three beautiful minds, and we had Fumi also.
Oh, thank you.
Four beautiful minds. So it's just that it was just supposed to be just conversations. But only thing, it would have been nice to see you also. We are just seeing the galaxy at 20. We would have liked to see you also. It would have been nice. We'll do that. I think we should have these conversations because.
Oh, okay. What to see?
I think Fola, I think we need these conversations.
Let me start my video.
Yes.
I've opened my video. Can you see me? It's an old woman. It's an old woman. Can you see me now?
Just coming. You're just coming through. You're just coming through.
I also mediate at the LMDC.
Very nice.
I mediate at the LMDC too until the place was burned down.
But I think this connection, connecting your video is going to take some time. I think there's a signal issue. But Fola, Abiola, please, this connecting the various generations and not losing out, like she said, on the culture.
So let me ask you. So Vikram, do you want us to go into IT or still stick with mediation? Tell us, what do you want us to do?
No, this is important. This will be part of the mediation thing, because when you go down to communities, that common thing, that connect between communities, once you connect them in this manner, you're going to be talking about mediation at that level. Because the culture of mediation, I have something happening on Monday. There's someone from Mauritius who's organizing something. I'm only talking about developing a culture of mediation. So when you connect people on these basic things, then the other culture of mediation, which is already part of our culture in general, that part also will develop. Fola, you have a much larger objective. You're obviously doing this mentorship, which is damn good. You're doing other things in terms of mediation, but you have to also, in a way, give back to society or whatever we might say, which you're already doing through your mentorship, but in this community aspect also, I think you need to have a role there.
Noted. Yep. My partner and I listening to you, so work on this.
Yeah, please.
Fola and Abi, you know, when Corona,
I think you might. It's better you put off.
Are what you just said, and let us because better done physically.
I think you can.
This virtual discussion is not my photo.
I think you switch off your video, because I think there's a signal issue, so your audio is also breaking. I think best you switch off your video. We can hear you. I think that'll be better.
Are you seeing me?
No, we're not seeing you because there's a signal issue. So I think you can switch off your video. We'll hear you. And next time when the signal is better, then we'll see you also.
I did. I was suggesting that.
Yeah.
I'll switch on my.
Yeah, this is okay. I think
my signal is not strong.
Yep.
That's why. Fola.
Ma, I can hear you, ma. I can hear you loud and clear. One going. Yes, I can hear you.
So I think
Can
what
you
we
hear
will,
me?
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
we'll have another session.
Yeah.
We'll have a session with we talk about because
Mm,
I think because of the signal issue there is a problem. We want to hear you, so we'll have another session. We'll talk about all these cultural
yeah.
aspects and all. Let's do that soon. And it's very interesting to hear these
Yeah.
stories.
Okay.
I think it's very important.
Yes, very
So
soon.
what I'm doing is I'm just putting you on mute right now,
Yeah.
and we'll fix up another session, and
Mm.
then we'll just talk about culture and what it was like in terms of all these proverbs and all these short stories to create
Right.
that moral thing. Because Fola has to give those to his children. He has to put that thing. I think you have a role there, Fola. Your children have to know about all that old stories, the language. Don't let the language
Oh
go.
yes. No, the language. It's funny you mentioned the language can't even go because I make a deliberate effort not to even speak English to my children. I don't speak English to them. I feel they get enough of the English language from my wife and their school. So most times when I communicate with them, I communicate with them in English. And I'm very, very big on Africa. I'm very, very, very big on culture and tradition because it's something I don't want because you see, it's becoming diluted as we progress. You'll
Everywhere,
find out, yes,
all over
yeah,
the world.
yeah,
Yeah.
becoming diluted, and as much as possible, I don't want them to lose their identity. I don't want that roots in the motherland most. I know. I'm just trying
No, no, what I'm saying
to
is that this is
strengthen what you
important
just said.
for your children as well as
Hmm.
for the culture of the country, because that culture is
Exactly.
important for the world. You're there, you have so much to teach the world. There's a history everywhere.
Mm.
There's a culture everywhere.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And I think times actually changed because back in the days, speaking the English language used to be a thing of pride and joy, and having children not being able to speak the English language. But now, people are now becoming more conscious of the fact that yes, the English language is just a language of communication.
Yep.
That you even speak it with an accent does not make it any better than somebody who doesn't speak it with an accent. And now, when we decide to now look at even the concept of technology, some of the good things about technology is that it's really beginning to unravel what we never used to know. We can now see things for what they truly are. Back in the days back in the days, people used to think Jesus Christ was a particular person, only for us to discover that that particular figure is an actor. So now let's even look at some of the positives of what we see right now. We are now more enlightened. We now have a better way of dealing with issues. So
No, but
I,
how I'm
I,
looking at it, look, look, you're big on social media. You have, I mean, there is
Mhm.
so much more obviously to do, but I'm thinking that let's look at the positives, that through social media you can reach out to so many people. Definitely. So I think these basic things which are getting lost. I'm just thinking of the proverbs that she's talking about. We don't know what all they are, but if you collect those, and then when we were speaking to Mr. Akesanya, he was talking about these fables, that every culture has fables, those short stories to give you those moral things. Those, because moral education came through basic stories, very basic stories, which everyone could relate to. And it's not only people in that particular region. Anywhere in the world, like I said, there is some basics that we have. So those basics are across. So I think it'll be nice to collect all that together.
Well, I think it's actually being collected. There are quite a number of pages and insights online on fables and all of that. And yeah, I think there's actually a repertoire of knowledge on all of this. So yeah,
So I
because
think what I
as much
understand from
as
both of you is,
yeah,
both of you are now basically you have to go somewhere, is what I understand.
I'm so
And you
sorry.
know that I have
Yes,
no problem about time. I can go on. So I don't think I should
yeah, I'm
push
so
you anymore.
sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you
So
so much.
for
So
me,
may
it's
I?
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, both of
So
you, for coming in. And we are
yes,
going to continue these conversations. And
yes.
so I don't know now
And
whether
yeah, but before you go, can I just make a quick shout out to those that stayed till the end? Mrs. Oduwaye, Mrs. Rufai, Mrs. Adenekon, Mrs. Morenike Obifarinde, Mrs. Yvonne. Yeah. So yes,
why
yes.
don't you say something,
Thank you
Mrs.
so much for staying with us. Yeah.
She was also that she's not saying anything.
MOB. We
I
call
think
her no,
all of you can.
we call her MOB now. So now let me even put her on the spot. You see, here in Nigeria we call her like the mother of ODR, the
I
online
know. Yeah.
dispute resolution.
No, I know.
Yes,
I think
yes.
we
So
want to hear her. Only I think the problem. I think what
she has
people.
been locked out.
Yeah.
I think she has logged out. Yeah,
No, I
she
tell
has
you,
logged
people
out.
people have logged in and then they stick there and then they forget that they logged in and then suddenly you reminded them that they've logged in.
Yeah, no, she just logged out.
Thank
Okay
you
then.
so much, Vikram. Thank
Thank you
you.
very
Thank you.
much
Thank you.
Yeah, Miss Yvonne, thank you so much. Everyone,
For
thank you.
staying
Miss
with us till
Sola,
the
thank you
end.
so much.
If
Yeah,
anyone
for
wants to
sure.
unmute, please
you.
unmute yourself. You can say bye to us. If anyone
Mrs.
else.
Adeneko,
Thank you.
Yvonne.
Thank you so much,
No, she's just
everyone.
Obi Farande is back. Mr.
Thank
Obi
you
Farande
very
is
much for that.
just joining in.
Thank you so much.
It was wonderful getting to know you better. And
Basically, you get to know the person, not the
thank you,
business.
Vikram.
No problem. And the main thing is that Fola, the businessman and the lawyer, at least he kept his hat out.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Yeah,
That was really
yeah.
nice, Fola and Abby. Nice
Okay.
listening to you. I'm learning about the pink shorts and the yellow top.
We are imagining that. We're imagining
Yes.
Abiola now with that.
It's so correct, Mrs. O. So
Mrs. Obi Farande.
Mr. Obi
so
Farande, you
much.
don't want to show us your face. What is the thing? You don't like us that much?
She's working. I can bet you she's working.
I'm sure she's in the office. I can tell you. You see?
What did I say?
I said it. I said it. I said it. We said it. Thank you so much.
You see, when you know, you know.
When you know, you know. Okay,
So look, some
then.
people have to work hard. Some people have to do it.
Yeah.
And some
Okay,
of us
then.
were made to work harder than the others. That's how life is.
and some people like me just like to talk. That's it. That's the only work
Okay,
they
then.
do.
We're made to enjoy all the best things in life with little work. That's how
This is-
life is.
Though this is also major work. Talking to people is also that's my work.
It's too much work talking.
I know. That's the toughest.
That's the greatest work talking. Yeah, it's okay. Nice time, everyone. Enjoy the rest.
Thank
of
you
your
so
Thank you so
much.
much.
Thank you, Vikram.
Thank you
Thank you
very
so much,
much, both of
Vikram.
you, and all of you,
Okay.
all of you. It was very nice of you to come in.
Bye,
Yeah.
everyone.
It was nice that you called everyone. Thank you very much. It was good. Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye, Sola.
Bye.
Bye, Fumi.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.